The Teapot Dome Scandal, one of the biggest government corruption scandals in American history, rocked the 1920s and tainted the legacy of President Warren G. Harding. A web of bribery, secret deals, and political favors unraveled before the public, exposing the rampant corruption that defined Harding's administration. And while the scandal itself is infamous, many speculate that the stress of its exposure, along with other scandals, may have even played a role in Harding's mysterious death in 1923. So what exactly happened? And how did the corruption of Harding's administration shake the very foundation of American politics? When Warren G. Harding took office in 1921, he filled his administration with close friends and political allies, many of whom would become known as the Ohio Gang. These men were not selected for their political expertise or ethical leadership, but rather for their loyalty to Harding. Unfortunately, many used their newfound power for personal gain, engaging in bribery, fraud, and embezzlement. Among the most notorious was Albert B. Fall, Harding's Secretary of the Interior. Fall orchestrated one of the most egregious acts of corruption in American history, what we now call the Teapot Dome Scandal. Teapot Dome was an oil-rich area in Wyoming, and Elk Hills, another valuable oil reserve, was located in California. These reserves were originally set aside for use by the U.S. Navy, ensuring that the military had emergency fuel supplies. However, in a backroom deal, Fall convinced Harding to transfer control of these reserves from the Navy to the Department of the Interior. What happened next was outright corruption. Without any competitive bidding process, Fall secretly leased the Teapot Dome and Elk Hills oil reserves to two private oil companies, Mammoth Oil, owned by Harry Sinclair, and Pan American Petroleum, led by Edward Doheny. In exchange, Fall received bribes worth nearly $400,000, over $6 million today, in cash, bonds, and livestock. For a while, these shady deals remained hidden, but as Fall's lavish lifestyle suddenly changed, buying expensive ranches, paying off debts, and flaunting his newfound wealth, people started asking questions. Eventually, the press got wind of the suspicious transactions, and in 1922, Senator Thomas Walsh of Montana led a congressional investigation. What the investigation uncovered was damning. Fall had abused his power, personally profited from government resources, and bypassed the public interest. The scandal was explosive, marking the first time in U.S. history that a cabinet member was convicted of a felony for misconduct in office. In 1929, Albert Fall was sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined $100,000. Although the oil companies' executives were not convicted of bribery, the scandal permanently damaged their reputations. As the scandal was unfolding, Harding himself was facing immense pressure. He had been hearing whispers of corruption within his administration and was reportedly troubled by the mounting allegations. In the summer of 1923, he embarked on a cross-country trip known as the Voyage of Understanding, hoping to reconnect with the American people and distance himself from the growing controversies. However, during the trip, Harding fell mysteriously ill in San Francisco and died on August 2, 1923. The official cause was a heart attack or stroke, but no autopsy was performed. This fueled speculation that his death might not have been natural. Some theories suggest he was poisoned. Although there is no concrete evidence to support these claims, Harding's sudden death allowed him to escape direct accountability for the corruption that flourished under his leadership. Following Harding's death, Vice President Calvin Coolidge assumed the presidency and worked to restore trust in the government. The Teapot Dome Scandal led to significant reforms, including stricter regulations on government contracts and greater transparency in public resource management. More importantly, it reinforced the idea that no one, even the highest-ranking officials, was above the law. Warren G. Harding is often remembered as one of the worst U.S. presidents, not necessarily for personal wrongdoing, but for the sheer incompetence and corruption of those he surrounded himself with. His administration serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, political cronyism, and the need for integrity in government. The Teapot Dome Scandal wasn't just about oil. It was about the erosion of public trust in the government. It exposed how political greed and corruption can thrive behind closed doors and how accountability is essential in any democracy. Though Harding himself did not live to see the full fallout, his presidency remains a symbol of how corruption can destroy even the highest office in the land. So, what do you think? Was Harding an unfortunate bystander in a corrupt administration, or was he complicit in the scandals that defined his presidency? One thing is certain: Teapot Dome remains a stark reminder that political power, when abused, can lead to scandal, disgrace, and even tragedy.